Could you explain what exactly the Indus Waters Treaty is and why it's been so crucial to Pakistan's survival all these years? How did previous Indian governments allow a situation where nearly 80% of the river waters were given away to Pakistan, while India was left with only about 20%? Isn't it high time we fix these historic blunders? With India now moving to scrap or fundamentally alter the treaty, what could be the long term implications for Pakistan's agriculture, economy, internal stability? Do you see this as a far more devastating and permanent tool of pressure compared to short term military actions? That's a great question. Look, my friends, listen, pay attention. A missile strike hurts, right? A missile strike hurts. It causes pain, it causes damage. That damage happens once, boom, right? Let's say you send 20 missiles. Let's say you send 100 missiles. It's going to cause a certain quantum of damage and pain. And then time erases that. You squeeze water slowly, gradually, drip by drip, drop by drop. 1%, 2%, 3%, 7%, 10%. That is not visible. There is no damage that's visible. There's no pain that's visible. But it is an incredible squeeze on a nation that depends on the upriver waters. That is a far greater pressure point, leverage point, pain point, whatever you want to call it, than missile strikes and military action. You can bring a nation to its knees by doing this. So now, with that said, what's the Indus Waters Treaty? It is a treaty that was signed sometime in 1960, I believe, under the auspices of the World Bank. And at that time, our Prime Minister was Mr. Nehru, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. So we have 6 rivers in the Sapta Sindhu region, which is strange because it's Sapta Sindhu, 7 rivers, but there are 6 rivers in there because one river left. It left, the Saraswati left. So we have 6 rivers in this region, the Sapta Sindhu region. In Punjab, Panchab, yeah, that sort of thing, right? So we have 2 nations, one temporary, one permanent, and we have 6 rivers. So in 1960, this treaty was signed between India and Pakistan. The World Bank engineered this treaty. Mr. Nehru accepted it. So India got exclusive or near exclusive use of 3 smaller rivers, the eastern rivers, the Ravi, the Beas, and the Satluj. And Pakistan was given complete, unrestricted water of the 3 western rivers, the Indus, the Sindhu River, the Jhelum, and the Chenab. And India is given the right to tap into the western rivers for non-consumptive purposes. If you want to use it for hydroelectricity or flood control or whatever, that sort of thing. And if you do that, you have to share all the technical data with the Pakistanis in advance so that they know exactly what's happening. And then there are dispute resolving mechanisms and whatnot. And this treaty has no expiry date. And it has survived how many wars? I don't know. 165, 71. What else? The Kargil War. That's 3 wars. So it survived 3 wars, and the treaty has stood until now. But now India has ended it. India suspended the treaty. So that's the Indus Waters Treaty. It gave 80% of the waters of the Indus River, of these rivers, to Pakistan. It must be the most lopsided, one-sided treaty in the history of humanity. Not even a defeated power accepts a treaty like this. Such a one-sided treaty. So yes, and I have a video on this channel about the Indus Waters Treaty, about from 2022 or 23, I think, about a couple of years ago, in which I've spoken about this and the steps India has been taking. And I've been saying that India needs to revisit this treaty and fix this historic blunder. So the Pakistanis, by doing the Pulwama, the Pahalgam massacre, have, well, finally, I think it's the straw that broke the camel's back, and that's it. It's the end of an era. So, what are going to be the long-term implications of Pakistan's agriculture, economy, internal stability? Now, India is going to control what happens. We may not have complete access to complete control over all the waters, because the western rivers, they flow in the Himalayas and the mountains, and it's very hard to dam them. But we have various run of the river projects and all that's going on. It's going to give us enough control to, to ramp up the amount of water we can retain in India and divert elsewhere. And many of these projects that we are undertaking, they will come to fruition in the next 5, 6, 7 years maximum. So you're going to see increasing pressure on Pakistan. Increasing amounts of water will be diverted by India now, and there's nothing the Pakistanis can do about this. Yeah, they can go to court, international court, blah blah blah, do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. Yes, of course, some people will say, and they are right to say this, that it gives the China the historical precedent for doing something similar to us, because they control some of our upriver, upstream, some of the upstream regions of our rivers, like the Brahmaputra, the Ganga, etc. Um, Especially the Brahmaputra is important, but it's okay. We will deal with it if it comes to that. And when it comes to the Brahmaputra, 80% of the waters of the Brahmaputra, the river gets those waters from within India itself, from Arunachal and other places. Only 20% comes from Tibet. So it's not going to be a huge issue. We'll have to find ways to deal with that. If the Chinese go down that road, uh, but Pakistan Pakistan is going to face serious trouble now, because its agriculture is dependent on this water. Most of its agriculture is dependent on the water that comes from these three rivers, and it's a very poor country. It's dependent on agriculture. I don't know how much of its GDP comes from agriculture, but at least about 30-40% of its workforce is employed in the agriculture sector. And yeah, it could be really bad times for Pakistan, and they deserve it. I mean, how long can a nation like India just keep enduring this nonsense, terrorism? There's gonna be a time when we're gonna give it back. So I think more than a war, this could be the thing that squeezes Pakistan and really brings it to its knees.